Hey everyone, Shaedow here, and welcome to another Marvel Contest of Champions video. So as you can see, I only have one quest left in 5.3, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through 5.3.6 and finish up Act 5.3. Now this final quest, the class that gets the, well, I guess bonus, but they're the only class that does not have their attack reduced is Science. Okay, so every other class has their attack reduced by 50%. Now, one of the problems that I ran into is that I don't have that many powerful Science champions. And the ones that I do have, I'm not all that familiar with playing with them. Okay, so like you see here, I brought in Luke Cage. Now, Luke Cage just recently got buffed, and he is a beast. If you haven't seen my video on him, it is on my channel, and you can see him just go through a little few duels. But as you can see here, he can really put in that work. Now this is my 4-star, which is Awakened, and that's why I brought him in here. I have him as a 5-star, but he's not Awakened. Now what that does is that I now have Indestructible, and it's on a timer. I love that change. Alright, so that means that I can push him to his L3 like this and watch his health. Nothing. I felt nothing. Look at that. I'm stunned, I'm getting hit, nothing. Okay, now it's out and the timer. So now, anytime I get hit, I'm going to take damage. So I don't want to push him to his L3 at this point in time, but the fight should not last that long. But you guys can see that that is a huge advantage. Not only that, but every time he stacks those exhaustion buffs, he's hitting harder. So you guys can see, look at those crits. And he just tore them up. So I love my Luke Cage. And if I can awaken the 5-star, I'm definitely going to rank him up. Now, this next one is King Groot. Now, normally I have no problem with King Groot, especially with Voodoo, and I did peek at the path, and that's why I brought Voodoo in for this fight. Now, if you've watched my previous videos, you know that I like to bring out Archangel and use him to clear the path as much as he can until he goes down. But look at who my first two opponents were. Ronan, who is poison immune, and then I'm facing King Groot, who is bleed immune. So in both of these fights, Archangel is not the best person for the job. So I brought in Luke Cage for Ronan, and as you can see, he was able to put in that work. And Voodoo here, I normally don't have any problem fighting King Groot, but for some reason, I struggled in this fight. Now, the first time I faced King Groot was in that monthly quest where he was introduced, and I used a 3-star Voodoo to just rip him apart. But in this fight, I'm kind of struggling here. And, you know, you saw that I got hit a few times. I'm still not sure why. You know, I don't remember actually letting up off of the block, but this fight took a longer time than I thought it should, and I really don't fully understand what was going on. Now of course Voodoo has his power reduced by half because he's not Science, so the fight is already going to last roughly twice as long as it normally would. But even with that, I think that Voodoo should have been able to take him down a little bit more. Now, one thing that I was having problems with, of course, he kept shrugging off my stuns, which is what he does, and that kept throwing me off. I kept trying to attack very quickly, and he was blocking even faster than I could attack, and that was getting a little bit frustrating, but it's all good. Now, you guys may notice how often Voodoo is going to his L3. That is because I'm running Mystic Dispersion 5 The build that I'm using here is primarily for Alliance War defense. However, I use it for everything because I am not trying to spend a whole bunch of units switching back and forth. So I chose a build that was primarily for defense. I gave up some of the offensive capabilities that I could have gotten, but it does okay. And I'm still able to quest. I'm still able to fight in arena, even though it takes longer without my suicides, and I miss them. But it's all good. My roster is at the point now where, even though it takes a little bit longer, because I have enough champions now, I still can put up a good score. Alright, so first opponent that we have faced that I can both bleed and poison. And so I bring out Archangel. And he pretty much goes to work on Gwenpool with her cute little crazy self. Nothing really fancy here. You guys can see that damage racking up. Even though Archangel has his power reduced, the fight would have been over by now if he didn't have his power reduced. But that health is just melting away. I don't know any champion that can put out that much damage that quickly, as long as they are not either bleed or poison immune. Archangel is just a beast against them. Alright, so next up we've got Ultron, so he can be neither poisoned nor bled. So I bring back my boy Luke Cage. Now, even before Luke Cage got buffed, I actually enjoyed his playstyle, his animations, his flow. You know, he was my guilty pleasure. He was old pillow hands, and of course I was not about to rank him past 3 because of that. I actually did rank him to 4 at one time before I realized just how bad he was. And with the rank down tickets, I believe I took him down during that first round of rank down tickets. But then they buffed him, and I took him straight up to 550. And just look at what he is doing to this Ultron. That is amazing. And I haven't even taken his L3 or anything like that. No need. Luke Cage is a beast. And bye-bye, Ultron. Who would have thought that we would be happy to have Luke Cage and bringing him into Quest no less? Alright, so next up, we got Angela. Now, I could have brought in Archangel, but I was having fun with Luke Cage. And so I said, let me bring Luke Cage in again and see what he can do to this Angela here. And I also wanted to get a little bit more practice fighting with him, because it's been a while. When he was ranked 3, I used to use him in the arena until I had a decent number of 550s and rank 4s. Now when I'm in arena, I only go through my 550s and my rank 4s. And that's it. 550s, 440s, that's all I go through in arena. So all of the rank 3s are just sitting there, and I just don't get a chance to fight with them. But once I ranked him up, now I can fight with him again, and I'm having fun. Now, one thing to note, and you guys have probably noticed it already, but just in case you haven't, Luke Cage's signature ability does not protect him against block damage. Alright, so if you're taking a lot of block damage, you're still going to go down, even with your signature ability of indestructible. Now, if you see that you're about to go down to block damage, and you know that you have your indestructible up, it might actually be strategic to take the hit, knowing that you're going to have a little bit of time to retaliate, and you won't be taking any damage. So, just a thought. And up and down. goes Angela. That sounded dirty. Anyway, Luke Cage, that's my boy. Now, I didn't want to use any items, so I didn't, heal him up or anything like that. Just kept going with him, and I figured use him as much as I possibly could. Alright, so now it's time for Rocket Raccoon to shine. Yes, he's my only 6-star, and I did tell you guys, if you saw that video, that I do use him. And so here he is in this quest. He's a 6-star, and he hits really hard. Alright, his L2 of course is fun to get off, but even his regular attacks, he does a lot of damage, especially as a 6-star. Alright, so this fight, not really anything challenging except for that. Now, I don't know how that happened. Did I lag? I'm not sure, but he seemed to recover pretty quickly. Now, I have heard people say that they're having problems getting off their specials after those 5-hit combos. We used to have a problem with that, and they fixed it. But perhaps after the update, it's back in some form. So you saw there, I didn't try to finish it all, and I just threw my special as fast as I could, and I got him. That's what I had to do back when, it was broken. You would have to do like 2-hit combos, 3-hit combos, 4-hit combos, and throw your special. But you never finish a 5-hit combo and throw your special, because depending on who you were fighting, you weren't going to make it and they were going to block it. And then chances are wreck. But as you can see here, I figured that out and didn't have any problems for the rest of the fight. But just look at the damage that Rocket is doing, and keep in mind that because he's not science, his attack is cut in half. So that damage that he's doing is half of what he could be doing. And let me tell you, when he was in the tech quest, he put in that work. And that was a 12k crit. I do have fun fighting with Rocket, and I don't regret getting him. There might have been some other champions that I may have liked more as a 6-star, but Rocket's fun. Alright, now here we are fighting Spider-Man Stark Enhanced, and I really don't like fighting him. His movements, they seem to almost mesmerize and dazzle my eyes sometimes, and I get distracted watching him move around like that. He's jumping around, flipping around, doing all kind of crazy stuff, and it's beautiful, but it's mesmerizing. Now, that AI, one of the things that I don't know if you guys are aware of, but you want to throw a heavy, and it'll cause his AI to reboot. Now, if you're fighting him with a Cosmic Champion, you don't have to worry about that, because you can just hit him, and any hit from a Cosmic Champion reboots the AI. But if you're not fighting with a Cosmic, you have to throw a heavy, and it'll reboot his AI, and that's when you can throw in, your own specials. But in this case, I didn't want to risk it. I throw heavies anyway because it's Archangel, and I threw that special 3. That's something that he wasn't about to evade, and I know that I'm going to get a stun after this, so that I will be able to get in a few more heavies, 2 more. Now, I gotta bait that out. And I have tried to dodge this attack, and I've made it. I have actually evaded completely his special 2. But a lot of times, I don't. So, without a little bit more practice, I'm not gonna try it. So I'm just going to block it, take the hits, and move on. Now, a little bit ago, it started to get a little laggy, and that's just what happens. I try to reset my phone before I do any kind of quest like this, but you'll see that I was starting to get hit, and I can tell when it starts to get choppy like that, that's likely going to happen. I'm going to start taking hits. All of a sudden, I think I'm blocking, but perhaps I'm not. So I was able to finish this fight at least, and I believe, I don't remember when, but I did end up resetting my phone somewhere around here. In fact, I do believe I did that here. So next up, we have Civil Warrior, and I brought in Quake for the first time. Now, I am not an expert at fighting Quake style, but I tried it here, and just look at him. All he's doing is throwing some heavies. Just boom, boom, and I'm already against the corner. And I didn't like that, and I could already see where that was going. So I abandoned Quake style for a bit and said, you know what, I'm just going to fight you. And I did go back to Quake style towards the end of the fight, but I needed him to calm down a little bit. So I switched up the style and tried to, charge her heavy up just a little bit, to throw a few heavies just to get a few stacks on him, like there, just to, keep that damage going, but you want to bait out his special 1, you want to bait out his special 2, if you're not going to fight Quake style. His special 1, very easy to evade, because it's really right there on him, right there. As soon as that blue starts to go, you can go into attack. Now, you saw earlier I got hit. I was dashing back, and that happens, I can't tell you how many times. I was just trying to create some space, and as soon as I dashed back, he came out of the stun and dashed with me and hit me. I hate when it does that. Alright, but anyway, you can see here, I went back to Quake style, and look at that. Quake is just awesome, and as long as I had all those stacks on him, I said, okay, I'm just going to try and do a combination. As soon as it got the aftershock, I would charge up, and then I would release it to hit him, because I know all he's going to start doing is trying to hit me with those heavies. So, as you can see here, towards the end, Quake style reigns supreme. Civil Warrior is just no match. Quake is actually a beast, and I've seen people who can really play her, and she is amazing. I had her at 550 for prestige, and I do not regret doing that at all. I didn't like her at first, but they fixed her. She was bugged. Her damage wasn't scaling properly. But once they fixed that bug, she is amazing. Alright, now we have Loki. So I bring in my rocket. Now, Loki is really easy to fight, and I know Rocket is just about to tear him up. Alright, so we got a few intercepts. You want to bait out his special 1. His special 2 is very easy to evade, as long as you have the space to evade it. So it's been a long time since I've actually gotten hit with his special 2. Not like his special 1, because sometimes I misjudge the timing on that. I don't know why, but I misjudge the timing and get hit with it. But I was happy to get that off, and as you can see here, very easy to evade as long as you have the room to do it. But look at this, he done backed me up into a corner. Alright, so I'm trying to get away from him, and he's just attacking. So I'm like trying to get him back, get away from me. But look at this, boom,
humiliating defeat.
Took me out, had me in the corner, couldn't evade it. It has been a long time since I got hit with Loki's special 2. So I brought in Quake to teach Loki a little bit about himself and to talk to him about what he did to poor little Rocket Raccoon. And I did use a little bit of Quake style in this. As you can see here, charging up that heavy, parrying him, boom, boom. But I did not want to get backed up into the corner again, and that's why you saw that I didn't continue to do that, because I did not want to face that unblockable L2 in that corner again. So this time I was trying to play it safe, make sure I had enough space, and just attack him and stay out of that corner.
Finish him.
And down goes Loki without a whimper. Or maybe he whimpered. I don't know. I like to think he whimpered. Okay. So now we're coming to the last stretch. And we're about to face Iceman. A stacked Iceman. Alright, so up until this time, as you guys can see, I haven't used any items. Well, that's going to change here. Because I was not about to face this Iceman without boosting up a little bit. Now, I could have just kept throwing myself against him and using up revives, but I didn't want to do that. So, first thing I did is I healed him up, and these are farmable. In fact, over this weekend, I'm going to farm up and restock that. So, that's not a big deal. And I also end up, as you'll see, boosting, and I think I did an attack boost and health boost before facing Iceman. I mean, it just makes sense, and I'm not using them for anything else at this point in time, so may as well use them to save me those revives, especially since Kabam has removed the level 1 revives. I'm hoping that that's just temporary, and yes, they put the halls of healing in, and that's good, but those level 1 revives were very useful. Alright, so we're bringing in Quake, and fighting Iceman is not that difficult. Alright, that you have to worry about. If he has his ice armor up and you do a parry, just know that that ice armor is going to eat your parry stun, and he's going to attack you almost immediately afterwards. So if you parry him and then you're used to attacking right away, you're going to get clobbered. Now, as you saw there, I evaded his L2. Now, I was watching Brian Grant's stream, and he prefers that L1. I don't prefer that L1. I find the L2 much easier to evade, probably because that L1, you have to evade a little bit later than you normally would have to evade those kinds of attacks. And if you evade too quickly, you'll get hit with it. So I find the L2 much easier. And as you can see here, I'm using Quake style, her ability. I don't have to hit him, so I don't have to worry about that L1 or that L2. And as you can see here, now you do not want to do this in the beginning, okay? Because in the beginning, when you're facing an awakened Iceman like I was facing, you're going to have cold snap on you. And so if you try to do that, he's going to just come in and punch you dead in your face. Because with the cold snap, you're not going to be able to evade. Okay, so you don't want to do that until the cold snap is gone. And as you can see here, I was able to get to my L3, and I had to do it. I don't get to see her L3 all that often, but it is so much fun to watch, and it gives me a little time to charge it up a little bit. But I did not hold it because he had a special, and he would throw that special if I tried charging up that heavy. So just a few things that you want to be aware of. Now this a little bit dangerous because it's near his L3, but I baited out the L2 successfully, and down he goes. Not really hard to fight Iceman, but if you mess up, he will punish you badly. Alright, so now we're going to face Doc Ock. Now I remember when Doc Ock was first in the contest, all those arms confused me to no end. Alright, but I've gotten a little bit more used to him. Now I brought in Luke Cage. Now look at Luke Cage's health. Okay, he doesn't have a lot of health, and I wasn't trying to do anything more than as much damage as I could. That's why you saw I just basically went on the attack, all aggressive like this. Look at this. He's doing some work. You know, he already does a lot of damage, and I kept throwing those L1s so that I could stun him and get a few more damage in. You know, a few more points of damage. Now look at this. He's not taking any damage. That is a powerful signature ability. Okay? And so now I'm back on the attack again. Alright, look at this. So Luke Cage is a beast. Now, once I pushed him to his L2, I kind of knew that I was probably done for because I can't evade this thing worth crap. Alright, I need to practice that. You know, it was unblockable. I needed to evade it, but I have not been able to evade it. Alright, so don't look at the fact that Luke Cage went down. Look at the fact that he went into the fight with very little health and was still able to take more than half of Doc Ock's health down. You know, granted, I am boosted up, so that helped. But Luke Cage is just a beast now. Alright, so we bring in Quake as we usually do.
Fatality.
And she was able to finish the fight off just fine. Alright, so finally we come to the final boss fight. And it is Green Goblin. Now, I have fought Green Goblin. I have gotten wrecked by Green Goblin. Usually his special 2. I don't know why, but I find his special 2 very tricky to evade. I just get wrecked by it when I try most of the time, but I have fully evaded it. Sometimes I just try to block it and I still get hit, and I'm still not sure why. Alright, so if you guys have seen my other videos, you'll know that what I like to do for the bosses is whatever champion I plan to actually use to take down the boss, I will hold in reserve and I'll use all my other champions that are still alive first. And just try to do as much damage to them as possible. Then I'll go in with my big boy. Now in this case, it was Archangel. Archangel, he's going to be able to bleed and poison him and take care of that regen that he likes to proc all the time. So Archangel was definitely going to be my MVP for this fight. Until Dr. Voodoo put on a show. And you guys are going to see. Now, even with Dr. Voodoo, that poison that Dr. Voodoo is able to put on him also affects the regen. You know, it won't cancel it completely like a neurotoxin would. I believe a neurotoxin completely cancels the regen. But with a lot of poisons, they're not going to be regenning for a whole lot. But look at Dr. Voodoo go. And keep in mind that his damage is 50% less. I was impressed, and this made me want to awaken my 5-star Dr. Voodoo so badly. I already wanted to, but now I really want to. I did not expect Dr. Voodoo to be able to do what I'm doing. I was definitely impressed. Dr. Voodoo, my hat goes off to you, sir. Alright guys, so that is 5.3 completed. And you guys will see what I got for the completion. I have done 1 through 3 already 100%, and I will be exploring it over the next few weeks. Alright, so that's going to do it, guys. If you liked the video, please consider smashing that like button. It really helps me out. If you have not subscribed already, please consider giving me a subscription. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about this video. Hopefully it helped you guys out. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And you guys have a blessed day.